So, you're thinking about becoming a teacher. You probably know there's a ton to learn, but today we're going to go way beyond the curriculum. We're diving into the real, messy, human side of teaching. Let's get into it.
You know, every teacher training program gives you this blueprint, right? You get the theory, the child development, the lesson planning. But what happens when reality just completely ignores your plan? The big question, the one we're tackling today is, what do the textbooks leave out? And this right here shows you the huge gap we're talking about. On one side, you have the ideal, this beautiful idea of teaching as a creative, thoughtful process. But on the other side, a raw, explosive moment from a real classroom. The actual job of a teacher exists somewhere in the middle of these two extremes. So today, we're going to look at both, the professional blueprint and the classroom's unfiltered reality.
Okay, so first things first. Let's start with the official guide, the foundation. This is the stuff that all the books say every single teacher has to master before they even think about stepping in front of a class.
And when you look at this list, it's a lot. And it goes so much deeper than just knowing your subject. It's demanding that you know yourself, your own biases, your cultural blind spots. You need to really understand your students, keep up with the latest research, and figure out how to actually use technology in a way that helps. This is basically the official toolkit you're supposed to have on day one. The blueprint also makes this promise of professional autonomy. Now, this is a really key idea. It's supposed to be the freedom you have to make those important calls about how your classroom runs, what you focus on, and how you adapt things for your students. It's the freedom to be that creative person we were just talking about.
And finally, the blueprint hands you the keys to classroom management. It's all about playing offense, not defense. You set up clear rules. You create a democratic space. You plan every minute of your instruction. The thinking is, if you do enough planning up front, your classroom will be this smooth, efficient learning machine. But what happens when that machine completely breaks down?
All right, now we're going to pivot. We're leaving the world of theory and heading straight into the trenches. This is what happens when your perfect lesson plan collides with real life, with all of its messiness, its emotions, and its total unpredictability. Just try to imagine this for a second. A full-blown fight erupts in your classroom. In a flash, you're not just a teacher anymore. You're a first responder, a conflict mediator, a moral guide. As one teacher, Lori Ungama, puts it, you're at a crossroads. Do you just try to get back to the lesson plan, or do you open that Pandora's box and actually deal with the huge issues of race, class, and privilege that just exploded in front of everyone? And what happens after? Well, that's not in any manual either. Ungama talks about the custodian just silently cleaning blood off the desks while she sat there and cried. The emotional weight, the very real human impact of these moments, that's a huge unwritten part of the job description.
But you know, the challenges aren't always violent. Sometimes they're quiet, and maybe even more complicated. A student trusts you enough to tell you they're pregnant and have no idea what to do. And in that moment, your whole role shifts. You're not an educator, you're a confidant. And the most powerful tool you have isn't a textbook or a lesson plan, it's just your ability to listen.
So how do you possibly connect these two worlds? How do you build a bridge from the neat and tidy world of theory to the absolute chaos of reality? This right here is the biggest challenge, and honestly, it's where the true art of teaching really lies.
This journey that one teacher describes, it's a story I think almost every educator goes through. You start out by mastering that blueprint. You memorize the formats, you become an expert in your subject. But for years, something just feels off, like something's missing. And then you have the big breakthrough. You realize that teaching isn't really about what you know, it's about who you're teaching. And this is it. This is the turning point. This is the secret sauce that connects the blueprint to the real world. Connection. That relationship you build with your students. By listening, by understanding their culture, by genuinely caring. That is the foundation for everything. Without it, the most amazing lesson plan in the world is just words on a page. And hey, don't just take it from the teachers. Just look at what the students themselves say makes a good teacher. They're not talking about how well you know your grammar rules or the periodic table. They talk about patience. Acceptance, belief. They talk about a teacher who gets involved in their lives. They value the human being in front of them. So, when you think about all of it, the massive challenges, the emotional exhaustion, the gap between what you expected and what's real, why do it? What is the purpose that keeps teachers coming back to that classroom day after day?
Well, I think it starts with this deep belief in the importance of the work. This isn't just another job. As this quote says, it's right up there with parenting as one of the most fundamental roles in any society, period. You are literally shaping the future in the most direct way you possibly can.
And that belief, it fuels an incredible mission. At the end of the day, the goal isn't just to get knowledge into their heads. It's to empower them. It's about giving students the tools and the confidence to believe in themselves, to go out and do their own great things. The real win is helping your students go out and change the world.
So look, that blueprint is essential. You absolutely need the theory, the plans, the knowledge. But the real work, the work that lasts, the work that changes the world, that happens in the human moments, down in the trenches of the classroom. So the only question left for you is, are you ready to build?